Hi there, welcome to our session, where today we'll share some of our best practice and examples of data sharing. My name is Ian Hicks, and I've been working at Symmetry for 4 years, implementing and supporting PDM and known tech solutions. Previously, I worked in the manufacturing industry alongside Symmetry as a partner, so you could say I've been working with these guys for nearly 15 years. So yeah, a lovely picture of me there, just share with everybody with a guy taking a selfie. Which one's the better looking? I'll let you decide that one there. It's actually too far from our Newcastle office. It's a place called Craigside, but the family holiday there. But anyway, here at Symmetry, my primary role is to support positive data sharing experiences and best practices when implementing CAD and PDM solutions. And coming from a manufacturing background myself, my primary focus today is going to be on tools which support data sharing and management from a design perspective, including the following personas. So the personas here to consider include areas of the business which will benefit from visual descriptive feedback, such as internal data consumers. These are the guys who consume manufacturing data and in some cases feed the manufacturing ecosystem. Project managers who require project progress and sometimes visual feedback. And the shop floor or production process who need to be fed data, such as bill of materials, drawings and models. And purchasing, these are the guys rely on specifications, bill of materials and up-to-date designs. Then we have to think about our external collaborators. Our external partners, similar to internal consumers, need to be kept up to date with the latest design information, but with an added emphasis on security. For example, our customers should only really see information pertaining to their entitlement, but also need an intuitive feedback loop. Suppliers need to work with the latest set of information, so we need to consider how a change to this information is managed. Our external designers we invite into our ecosystem, supplying contract work maybe, and need to add data such as specifications. We need also wish to block access to sensitive NDA data. And also for this, I want to talk about some of the connecting technology. So this is the technology which enables this sharing. So I'll be showing some examples how we can utilize some of these tools. So Autodesk Shared Views, this is a free to use collaborative platform ready to go with minimal setup required. Vault. Now, Vault's been around for a while, but for a good reason. It's great for managing data security for internal and external collaboration and setting up best practices for data consumption, as well as secure external collaboration for team members and consumers. We're also going to cover a little bit on Upchain. So Upchain is the new kid on the block as far as Autodesk is concerned, but this has got some really nice project management tools and great for a quick startup, regardless of your CAD platform. And then we want to think about the background technology. So Autodesk Project Sync and the Desktop Connector. These are connecting tools like a tow bar, essentially, for a caravan, necessary to facilitate the function. You can't go on holiday without one of those, and equally, you need these tools to connect the dots. So project managers in the cloud environment are increasingly become a connected part of the manufacturing design ecosystem. These tools help bridge some of that gap in a controlled manner. And then some of our Symmetry Sibilia tools. These help deliver an enhanced connected experience, which considers feedback workflows, property synchronization, and logical triggers. Okay. So to kick things off, we need to understand what we mean by design collaboration. In general, design is the process of creating something new or improving upon an existing product or service. It involves a combination of creativity, technical skill, and problem-solving abilities. This definition means we're not just limited to a set of documents. A design is communication, in a sense, sharing. Most of us are used to sharing on various platforms such as LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, etc. Be this for personal, professional, or information. But one thing we always do is curate what we share for these target audiences. So rolling this back to the analogy, we also do this with our projects and design data shared with our teams, suppliers, customers, etc. And we also curate for these audiences as well. So let's start with internal collaborators such as shop floor, purchasing, and project managers, teams within our company. Traditionally, we already have a way of working with these teams, but what we often see is a slightly siloed way of working due to the organic growth within a department, where our communication is centered on internal process familiar to that team, which means there's a level of translation when communicating, usually centered on common methods such as emails or a shared spreadsheet. This is not the most fluid process and can lead to issues with version control, issue tracking, and user error. In addition, we may encounter security issues. Users may gain access to unreleased or sensitive data due to it being outside of the control of a formal process. So thinking about these internal customers, what does the data transaction look like? I'm going to start with the outputs, as this is the designer's comfort zone. This is where they are in control of the communication, and coming from a design background myself is where I'm most familiar. We can simply start with the file outputs, such as automated BOM and design documents. These exports can then build into external notifications and controlled file consumption. And this is the home of PDM, such as Vault and Upchain. We use these tools to control internal design workflows and access data our downstream internal customers consume. So PDM allows us to move away from traditional file sharing scenarios, which complicates version control, user access, and manual maintenance of file outputs. And as a business benefit, this means there is a better collaboration within our teams and less manual repetition of common tasks. Let's take a quick look at how downstream users could access data using the Autodesk Vault web client. Okay, so a quick video here of a user consuming data within the web client. Now, bear in mind this is through a controlled area. It's not through a SharePoint. It's not through a shared drive. This is all within the PDM database. And because of what we set up with security and so on, this user is only able to see released information. So you see everything's tagged there as released on the screen. I'm also able to see how the product is constructed. Now, just moving to the viewer here, the viewer is unbuilt again for this communication, for this visual consumption. So the user here is able to measure, for example, and there'll be a few other tools which we show to interrogate the model. Of course, they explode. If you want to actually see what components are in there, how they maybe actually fit in together. And then we've got a bit of a model browser as well, so we can really drill down into information here. Okay. So as this data consumer is looking around this, they then may spot something they need to check out. So this is a quite nice little markup tool. So this is again going back to communication, and we're communicating within the tool on the files within the database. Now this one, this is a nice little tool just to mark up and get that start the data sharing the conversation within the control platform. But the feedback is going to be through a export here. So it is really more like a consumption tool here, but we are able to actually mark this information up. Now, we can also share from here. We can share out to the web. So the web being a link to this exact this design, or actually to the desktop. And we could actually, if you still prefer that physical file, or you need to export that, depending on your user permissions, you can actually download this information as well. This is all internal to the business as well. This is inward facing, as long as you're on the same network. And we're not just limited to 3D. Of course, you can do 2D, and pretty much a lot of the same markup tools and everything there. You can't explode a 2D model drawing, but it's not a model, but you wouldn't expect to do that either. But we can print from here and so on. But yeah, this is a really nice little data consumption tool in a controlled environment, and it's on the most relevant, up-to-date information as well. So thin client or web users are data consumers, and as shown in the video, these users interact with the data managed in our PDM platform. So thinking about our data's journey, we've applied security, facilitated access, and automated file creation, which should be seamless and part of a file's lifecycle. Symmetry works alongside our partners to configure solutions that match existing company workflows or adapt these to best practice working practices, be it simple file generation or complex action sets triggered by design lifecycle interactions. We can also go that one step further, helping manage these automatic processes. These can kick in using some of our video tools to help streamline the process as well. So, for example, a file can be released to production, triggering audit property assignment, BOM exports, PDF creation, and email notifications, meaning the data consumer has all the relevant information at the correct time, saving a multitude of manual tasks and disconnected communications. So again, it's just removing a lot of that the friction you get with manual tasks and saving essentially time in the process. Okay, so let's now look at inputs. Project constraints such as manufacturing availability, customer requirements, product specifications. For example, we may be designing for a hazardous area or have environmental objectives to consider, such as carbon content. There is no magic wand when it comes to the inputs, as every company approaches these challenges differently. However, a good start is moving away from simple email requests and looking at project management and document management tools. We start to consider tools such as PLM, where we manage project design information through its life cycle from concept all the way through to retirement. Another project management focus, a simple tool, PDM tool Symetry can help support with, is Upchain. This platform allows us to consider our designs as projects, moving away from traditional folder-based design management. Upchain is also cloud-based, so it removes some of the potential issues with local file storage and sharing a single set of project data. So let's take a quick look at how project managers may interact with this tool. Okay. So this is Upchain. Again, it's another web client-based technology, this one, but this one goes a little step further in that it actually has project management tools within it. So what we're doing, we're looking at data input. The project manager here is actually just starting a bit of a project kickoff here. They're tagging this helpful user, Ian Hicks. You might have met him. So we've had a project kickoff. We've said it's the particular date and on this Gantt chart. And now we're actually going to put another task below this. We're going to actually task a user role with to produce a general arrangement for this particular design. So instead of actually setting this helpful chap, we'll put the lead mechanical designer here. We'll give them 10 days to do it, and we're going to get them started as soon as possible. So this is data inputs. Now within these forms, we can add in all manner of data to say, okay, we need this particular type of design, and it's all tracked against the project. It's not tracked. It's not an email. It's not external system. This is all within the same area the data will be added to. So it's not disconnected. Okay. So the second scenario is considered a feedback loop where issues can be raised internally midway through a project. So again, another little web review I've got. This is different to the one I showed before, and we're going to show a bit of a markup tool here. And the difference here is we can start something called an investigation request. This means we can tag a user to actually, again, give input, ask a question within the controlled system. Notifications will be sent out, the issue can be tracked and actually put through a workflow. And we can make sure that this is being tracked formally and not just a request here. So this user will now get an email to come into this system, check out the markup, and maybe action a change. So that was an example of simple internal sharing and communication with the data. We'd of course escalate these workflows to pre-designed decisions using full PLM solutions, adding new product introductions, and issue management. Symetry have a range of service connectors to help facilitate this. Internal customers can start to move away from silo working using the tools we have available to manage and consume data. So let's introduce our external collaborators. So to recap, these are external customers, suppliers, and design partners. As previously observed, we are essentially talking about data-driven communication tools with common design at its center. So let's ask the question, how to start communicating with external consumers with the lowest bar to entry, no technical requirements needed. So traditionally, a screenshot may be attached to an email or a good old PDF, but as soon as we've created these are now uncontrolled. So what are some tips around external data sharing? So we start simple. Because we don't. These guys are external to our own teams. We don't know what technology they're used to using, but they may not be used to consuming something technical. So we've got to start simple. We've got to think, what's the easiest way to start with this? I mean, at the end of the day, we all use a lot. Well, most people will use some form of website out there to order things for the house or whatever. Use Amazon, whatever, Argos, whoever we're using today. They have a nice, simple interface. Nobody had training on it, so starting simple and getting people engaged is real plus one there. What available tech do they have? So the available tech is, we might be designing everything in Inventor, Fusion, whatever. We're using all these tools. Yeah, our partner might not have the same technical abilities. They may not have the same setup and suite of software we have. So we've got to consider what's the lowest bar of entry again. What role is this partner? Do they need to add data? Do they just need to consume data? We need to consider that. And that brings us on to security, is what are they actually allowed to see? What are we sending out there to an external, potentially uncontrolled team, or a team which isn't in our control, should I say. Okay. So a great solution to get consumers talking and in a controlled manner, if you haven't already discovered it, is Shared Views tool, found in many Autodesk design products and Vault. This tool allows data consumers to view design information without any special software, just a web browser. I have another video, but also a link to my next slide, which you can scan with your smartphone and access this data live. Okay, so there's our QR code there to the left. Yeah. So if you want to, you can scan that and actually interact with the same model I'm looking at today. So this is another web viewer. You'll get used to seeing web viewers on this, and probably an explode command in a minute as well. So what we're actually seeing here is a model up in the shared views. This is actually on the Autodesk Online Viewer. Again, no special software has been added. So if you think back to those points I've mentioned, is it simple? Yes, it's nice and simple and intuitive after a few clicks around. Is it do you need special technology? No, it's a web browser. So obviously we're able to review this this model within here. We can see me using some of these tools here. Okay. But once we've done that, and the one which really makes a difference is this markup option. Now, again, I marked up on previously, and that was all on an internal system. With the markup here, this is slightly different in that I'm doing this within a web browser. I'm not within the company's system. I'm looking at a shared view. And what I'm able to do here is mark this information up here as my data consumer. I'll save this away as it goes into like a comments area. Now let's flip to the PDM user, or so this is this little view in the Vault, and you can see there's my shared view. I could hit the view in the browser. I could actually go ahead and look at it, but I can actually within this platform, I can go, okay, there's a comment here, and review the fact, oh look, somebody has marked this up. Actually, this Ian Hicks guy again. Excuse me. So I can actually respond to him or respond to this particular user. We can post. I will investigate in this case, and then we flip back to the web browser, and we can see that conversation continuing. And maybe this conversation rattles on for a bit longer, but I'm actually going to hit resolve, and what that means is it marks that as done. It means that issue has been sorted. We can then export that. So what I'm showing there is that the issue's not gone away. You can still check in on it. And what that export button did, it exported a PDF to download, so I can actually get a record of this conversation. On the next slide, I'll actually have a little view of that. So let's move to that. Okay, so QR code there, even bigger if you couldn't get it before. Yeah. So yeah, and the PDF there, right in the middle of the page. That's the report that you actually got from that interaction there with timestamps and everything. Okay. So just to recap, in this case, shared views, it was simple to set up. So no license required, no special software. It's integrated within design tools. So that's tick box for simple, tick box for what tech you've got, because most people have a web browser. I mean, they should have hopefully had emails and so on going. But if you've got a web browser, you can get to this information. Security is downloads are not permitted, so this is consumption within the web browser only. The only thing you could potentially do is print screen or export the conversation maybe, but you can't actually download these models and drawings which you might be put up there to maybe make changes to them. They auto expire after 30 days, so any shared view has a 30-day life cycle. These can be extended if you need longer, but yeah, it's 30 days. Components can also be hidden, so component details can be hidden. We can hide the names of components if we have maybe data we don't want the consumer to actually be aware of. The calibration, it's simple, but it's markups, it's comments, and you get the PDF export as well. So yeah, great little tool that, and it's good to sort of get people talking, is to get teams start to collaborate with a minimal barrier to entry. So we've just discovered some great tools for external data consumption with a limited feedback loop. But what if we want to bring the customer, supplier, design partner into our design? What are the recommended steps we must consider? All external collaboration requires a level of trust and security, and to manage that, we must first think about who has the keys to our data, which rooms should we let our collaborators into, permissions and visibility need to be configured based on client type. For example, a customer may only need a feedback loop. This is best managed through a project manager and not direct to the design team. So we're potentially looking at a PLM solution for this to manage the actions and requirements. A supplier may need direct access to design files and BOM outputs, so in conjunction with design lifecycles, we can control what data is considered released. We can use access security to manage who can interact with our data and control automated. Sorry, call automated exports to approved access portals such as SharePoint or Autodesk Drive. So let's look at a supplier workflow. Here we're showing how our user in Upchain can create a simple supplier interaction when seeking a quote for a space plate. Supplier receives an email with a link exclusive to them to review, add detail, and download documents. So in this case, the Upchain user is actually filling in a bit of information within this viewer. And it's a bit like the investigation requested before. This is to send out to an external link partner, a partner to review this information and supply a quote through. So what the supplier will get is an exclusive link to themselves through this. So yeah, the supplier's received this link, and they're going to start adding this information into the against the design. And again, this is in the PDM system. This is not through any other means. This is not through a step file, a PDF. This is going to yeah. This is a controlled setup, and what the user's doing is they're adding the information against the design here, saving the information, and then we're just going to check for some additional comments. So is there any additional requirements, any quality assurance documents to be filled in? But no, it's fine. Let's move that base plate along. So we can complete that quote there. Okay, so let's move back to the Upchain user, the full user here. We can see that quote, and we can see what that user's actually done. Yeah, the supplier has worked, and then we can either reject it or we can approve the quote. So, or say needs more detail, and continue that feedback and that communication between those two parties. Yeah. Okay, so using cloud-based PDM, we've enabled a supplier outside of our organization to interact with the design process, consuming an output and adding relevant data to the project. I used Upchain for this example, as this is one of its great features, which I think needs highlighting and is a good demonstration of how a cloud-native application can be used. This process removed some of the barriers we sometimes see with managing versions of design files and email records. Netflix focused on the external design partners. These are the guys who need to add more than just feedback, but also add design information to our projects. How do we effectively share and control data with these guys? So from a design perspective, we want to control what the design team can view, but with minimum IT overhead. It must be a simple phrase. It is a simple phrase, should I say, to allow a third party into your network. However, when considering cybersecurity, this isn't always simple to set up. So what options do we have? As shown on this slide, we have cloud-based PDM, which in its simplest form allows our design partners to collaborate, but we must consider access security, which can be done via tenant access or application-side credentials, including options to use SSO security. Connections is facilitated either through being cloud native or services such as Vault Gateway. Application security means we can govern who can access data by setting viewing and collaboration restrictions. This is different to traditional means such as VPN access, as we consider the door already open. We're just creating the user experience. We can also look at workspace synchronization using tools such as Desktop Connector combined with Autodesk Project Sync, or the more configurable options delivered by Symmetry Sibelia products. A design partner may need access to unreleased data, as they may be responsible for producing design information. Traditionally, this may have been managed via file uploads and emails. We can work smarter using projects or file and folder lifecycle security. This assumes application access to our PDM, but what about non-PDM collaboration? We're creating a controlled external environment for users to interact. This could be a PLM system which manages external user access, Autodesk Construction Cloud for supporting design information, or simpler tools such as Autodesk Desktop Connector, alongside Project Sync in Vault Professional for basic scheduled data communication. For a more configured workflow, Symmetry and our partners can provide synchronization tools in both Vault and Upchain based on event triggers. Design teams can set up bidirectional synchronization of files. So let's take a look at how this may work. So here we see our PDM users submit their design to release. This triggers a number of automations, including the upload of Autodesk to construction cloud docs. So what we're seeing here is just using the Vault, we're actually putting a file through a life cycle. By moving this to released, Symmetry's solution is actually going to upload these to the ACC platform. So we next see our ACC user interact with the design, allowing data reviews and enabling another downstream team to work with the design data. The ACC user can also add data to this folder, which can then synchronize back to the Vault. So at the moment, we're just consuming that data which has been released. We're looking through that design. We're looking at some of the details, but maybe we need to add additional information as well at some point. At the moment, we're just consuming this, allowing us to review what has been released on this particular project. Now this isn't actually a video, this is just a couple of screenshots, but finally, using the desktop connector, a Windows user can interact with the files uploaded to the connected ACC project, editing and adding files to the project, and in turn upload to the Vault. So using Autodesk desktop connector, we can connect that to the ACC project. What this means is we can have local files, we can interact with those local files, we can edit them, and as it is connected to the construction cloud in this case, and we've got a synchronized project, they can be pushed back to the Vault. And it's the key thing here is there's no additional Vault license required for this docs user. They obviously need to be invited into a project for ACC to be able to log in and get their desktop connector set up. But it shows that we don't have to necessarily be a Vault user to interact with that data. So to recap, internal collaboration isn't too dissimilar to external. They both require access to the correct data at the right time. Communication is a common factor, and taking into account the holistic view of the collaborative design environment, we need to not only consider the design workflow, but the lifecycle of our products. Inputs need to be controlled and managed as they are the recipe for our designs, and outputs would benefit from some sort of automation combined with access entitlements. Symmetry's data management team can help elevate your data workflows and automate your process. Thank you for your time today, and I open the floor for any questions. Okay. As there are no questions, we'll be sending out some links to the to this webinar and some useful sort of trials as well, which you can get involved with, and hopefully the link to my shared view for however long it remains up. Thank you for your time again.